गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णू गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Let there be peace, let there be peace and love amongst all the human beings of the universe. Let there be peace, let there be peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We have started the revision on the seventh chapter, that is story of Lavana. Lavana is a king which is a very pious king, and we have seen the first topic, that is Shambarik and Mohanam, the delusion caused by the juggler. What has happened is that juggler has come to the council chamber of the King Lavana and shown the bunch of peacock feathers, and he said, "See, king, see this." And the king sees that, and what happens is king goes into the trance, and then he sees the in the trance he sees the neighboring king of Sindhu territory enters the council chambers along with the horse, and this juggler very politely, very friendly, very affectionately says, "King, climb that horse." He climbs that horse, and then horse starts running very fast, and then he is under that mesmerized vision, and for two muhurtas, that is one muhurta is 45 minutes, so 48 minutes rather. So for two more, so almost 1.5 hours, this king remained into the trance, and this all these members of the assembly, all the ministers, they were anxiously waiting what is happening to this king, and then king comes out of that delusion which is caused because of the illusory effect created by this Shambarikam, that is the juggler, and by showing that pichika, that is peacock feathers, which was railed by the rock, and then his mind got confused when he sat on that horse was running here and there in the forest, and that got fatigue vehicle, and then before the sunset, king could catch hold of some creepers and citrus tree, and then this uh, horse run away from there, and then night started coming. Then there is a lady. King was feeling very thirsty and hungry, so he asked that lady, "Please give me food." She says, "I can't give. I am the tribal lady here, and how can you take a food from me? And if you really want to take food from me, you have to become my husband." So there was no option to this king, and he becomes the husband, and then through that lady, he had two sons and two daughters, and subsequently, famine comes at that place. Everybody leaves that place, which is the father-in-law's place of this king. King has already forgotten that he's king, and he became the Chandala. And then he was sitting under the tree. His younger son asked for the meat, and because of this anguish, he then decides to create a funeral pyre and tries to jump in that. And just two muhurtas of that, he comes out, and then he told his story to his all kingsmen and ministers, and minister says, "Sir, this is not an ordinary juggler. He has not asked for any wealth. He has not asked for any bakshis. So it is a divine illusion which teaches us the state of worldly existence." So the king's ministers very very clever. They could interpret it is the divine plan, and that's why this has happened. And then delusion and illusion can be quieted only by the control of mind. And this samsar sthiti bodhini, which has happened in this last shloka, which was 25th samsar sthiti bodhini, is what we are also under the delusion. What is the delusion? When you are born as a kid to some family, there is a mother and father. When you are born, that time there is a hardly any thought process going on in your mind. You only know how to cry, nothing more than that, and you cry, and people laugh at you, and that is the really tragedy of the life. And the samsar sthiti goes in like you have mother, you have father, you have brother, you have sister, you have husband, then you become wife, and then cheating starts, misery starts, and happiness starts, sorrowful thing starts, and this is all the sthiti of that samsar. And these are the events of the life, and that is called as Daivi Maya Durattaya. It is very difficult to cross this. This is how the world is, and Lavana has experienced under the spell of this delusion, the illusion was experienced as a chandal. It was a long, long dream, and how many years? 60 years he has suffered. In 1.5 hours, 60 years has elapsed. So, this is a time frame. It is difficult to map the time frame of the dream and the time frame of the real world. When you can also see that when you sit for a meditation, कभी अपन meditation करने को बैठते हैं, and what happens when you sit for a meditation and you do that, okay, what has to be done, okay, I'll do some pranayama, you do pranayama. After that, what you do some omkar, okay, you did some omkar, and after that, what you do sharir shithalikaran, okay, you do that, and then you try to do meditation, and you do meditation for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes max, and you feel, oh, 1000 years have passed, and when you see your watch, array, it is only 3 minutes. So this is a time frame. So you are also a victim of this. Like Lavana was a victim of samsara sthiti bodhmi. The whole world is a victim because we never know that we are divine. We never anticipate that we are divine because our mind is always outward. It is always moving into the cause and effect. अपने को ऐसा दिखता है इसका मतलब ये ऐसा है, अपने नेकेड आई से ऐसा दिखता है तो ये ऐसा ही जगत बस ऐसा ही है. और फिर व्हाट हैपन सब्सिक्वेंटली, his mind becomes prejudice. नहीं मैं बता रहा हूँ या बता रही हूँ बस ऐसे ही है, मेरे को दिख रहा है ना वो पेड़ नारियल का पेड़ है, उसको नारियल लगे ना बस, that is there. But nobody sees that this is a divine plan. Nobody inquires for what purpose this nariyal ped is here, or what purpose this fish is here, or what purpose this lion is there, from where it has come. Nothing. Nobody wants to go into that inquiry mode because inquiry mode brings you to the moksha. Moksha from the relative existence, contentment, tranquility, company with holy people, and inquiry. These are the four gateways of that liberation. One of them is also there, all four will come with you, but then we don't want that to happen. We are very happy in that this miserable world because we like this miserable world. We like this Jagrut Avastha. So we enjoy that or we suffer, and then we are really not sadhaka because then we have decided to remain in samsara. So second topic is samsar vibrama, the delusion of worldly existence. How this delusion of worldly existence has come now, 26, 22nd shloka. Vashishtu Uvacha, Vashishtu Rishi is saying, Chandalatvam hi lavane pratibha savadhyata tathedam jagata abhogi mano manana matrakam संयमात मनसा शांति eti samsara vibramam. That means what? Just as the state of being an outcast arose in Lavana's mind due to the power of illusion, it is all power of illusion. This experience of the world is a mere imagination of the mind. This experience is only mere imagination of mind. By the restraint of mind, the delusion of worldly existence reaches elevation. अपन अपना मन शांत कर लिए तो ये सब चीजें खत्म हो जाएगी. So if chitta vritti nirodh happens, then we are merged in the absolute. We are not supposed to do the chitta vritti nirodh forcibly. It should happen. Like we should merge in the absolute. So we have done some meditations for that. And Sanyamat Manasa Shanti. If you really apply Sanyam, so what will happen? Manasa Shanti, your mind will be really under control. So how it is possible? Dekho, suno, bolo mat. See here, don't talk. This is the mantra of today. So next shloka is Swapaure Sheka Sadhena Swepasita Tyaga Rupina Mana Prashamana Matrena Vina Nasti Shubhagati. जब तक मन प्रशम नहीं करोगे तब तक शुभा गति नहीं होगी. There is no happy state without the one thing, namely the tranquility of the mind, which is to be accomplished only by one's own effort, which is of the nature of renunciation of one desire. तो अपने को अपनी शुभ वासना, अपनी डिजायर कम 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 करना पड़ेगा और खुद के एफर्ट्स बढ़ाना पड़ेगा. You will have to increase your efforts. Unless you increase the efforts, like what? Shubha gati will not happen. So असंकल्पन शस्त्रे न छिन्न चित्त गता यदा सर्व सर्वगतम शांतम ब्रह्म संपद्यते तथा. By the weapon of absence of desire, that is imagination, when the mind goes to the destruction, Brahma, which is the whole, all pervading, tranquil, is entered into. So what is that? Mind destruction means, are you going to kill the mind? No. Mind becomes destruction because when the thoughts are reduced, mind becomes consciousness. It becomes consciousness, and the mind which is having the 100% consciousness is God. and that is Almighty, that is the Self, that is unfragmented divinity, and that is all, and that is bliss. So all that words I have used, that is for replacing the mind when there are zero thoughts. So that's what is been said here. When the destruction of mind means, it is not really destruction of mind. It is mind get dissolved into the consciousness, and only the consciousness remains. That is, it is like a blotting paper. Blotting paper, if it is put into the ink, all the ink is sucked as per the capacity of blotting paper, and it becomes blue. It becomes ink-like. Similarly, the consciousness, our mind becomes consciousness like, or rather it becomes consciousness because it is only consciousness. There is nothing. वो divine ही है. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you want it or not, you are divine. बट क्या होता है कि अपन बाहर जगत में देखते हैं तो हस्बैंड वाइफ दिखते हैं, बाहर जगत में देखते हैं तो बेटा बेटी दिखते हैं, बाहर जगत में देखते हैं तो ग्रैंडसन ग्रैंड डॉटर दिखते हैं, बाहर जगत में देखते हैं तो इन लॉज आउटलॉज दिखते हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, mind is being multiplied, and moment mind multiplies, it grows, and moment it grows, it goes away from consciousness, and it increases your ego. Monster ego increases, desire increases, and duality increases, and you suffer in the life because you take them to be real. If you don't take them to be real, nothing will happen to you. Perception of the mind is not a problem, projection of the mind is problem. यानी क्या, परसेप्शन जो दिख रहा है मेरे सामने, अभी एक लैपटॉप रखा हुआ है, उसके बाजू में एक लाइट लगाया हुआ है, ऊपर में केबल है, कुछ कुछ है, मैं सब देख रहा हूँ. परसेप्शन इज हैपनिंग. देखो, देख रहा हूँ. सुनो, कुछ कुछ आवाज आवाज आ रही, सब सुनो. बोलो मत, डोंट टॉक, सो यू आर विद डिविनिटी. एज सिंपल एज दैट. इतना सुपर मंत्र है, इतना सिंपल मंत्र है, इससे अपने को डिविनिटी मिल जाएगी, पर अपना विश्वास ही नहीं होता है. टुडेज कन्विक्शन इज टुमारोज रियलाइजेशन. अपने को कन्विक्शन आना चाहिए ये बातों पे. So nahi, subsequently now it is saying how we are not getting convinced. I am soham idam tatame evan matrikam mana param paureshamaashritya nitva chittam achittatam tam mahapadavi mehi yatra nasho na vidyate. He is he, this is he, I am this is mine. So much is only the mind. यानी मी आणि माझे हेच मन आहे, तू आणि तुझे हे ईश्वर आहे. So what is that? I am soham idam. The knowledge where I and mine are violently operating. They are violently operating. We keep on talking, we keep on discussing, we keep on gossiping, we keep on commenting, we keep on reacting, and the world begins. So the knowledge where I and mine are violently operating, that knowledge is mind. Restraining to the best of the efforts and having taken the mind to the state free of thought attains the great position. Spiritual practice is only working on the mind. Doing japa, doing jnana, doing going to the pilgrimage, going to the ashramas, going to the temple, going to the dargah, going to the mosque. These are only the means. And what has to be attended now? It is the means to the means of God realization. What are the means? Means I already told. Going to dargah, going to mosque, going to temple, going to ashrama. These are the means to the means of God realization. What is the means to the God realization? To the means is what you have to drop your ego. You have to drop your I. You have to drop your thoughts. You have to drop everything and remain wherever you are as it is. When you drop all that, what remains is second means is also taken care of that. And God realizing means is not like He is going to come in front of and He say, "Hello, how are you?" Not like that. He is going to say that He is in your loving heart, and your working will become godly. That means you will be not getting affected due to the relative existence. You will be happy, cheerful, blissful, contented, on over and above, relaxed and cool under all the situations. Whether you are getting defeated or whether you are getting successful, Hari Ichha or Hari Kripa, your mind will be always contented, blissful, happy, tranquil, relax and cool under all the situation. So that is the meaning of here. So you have to drop. So what is the mind? He, I am this, and that becomes the ego. Resorting to the best of the efforts, having taken the mind to the state free from the thought, attend to that position where there is no distraction. There is no distraction, there is mind doesn't, because mind minus thoughts is equal to consciousness. Thought has been made zero, so mind is equal to consciousness. Now next is saying, nahi chanchalattahinam manak kvanchina drishyate chanchalatvam manodharma vanne dharmo yatoshnatha. Devote of movement, the mind is not pursued anywhere. Indeed, movement is the nature of mind as heat is the nature of characteristic of fire. So moment you talk about the fire, then naturally heat will come. Similarly, moment you talk about the mind, the movement of the nature has to come. So moment it is devoted, then it dissolves in the consciousness. 32nd shloka. Vibodhaikan anusandana chidashatmata mana chidekatam upayati drudabhyasa. The mind, because of its being of the nature of the part of consciousness or pure intelligence, attend to the state of the one undivided consciousness by inquiry or reflection, pure intelligence or perception, and by the power of firm practice. That means every day afternoon meeting has to be attended. Daily daily अपने को बताना पड़ेगा भैया दृढ़ाभ्यास कर, अपनी डिविनिटी है, इधर उधर घूमने की जरूरत नहीं, कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं, जाना है तो टाइम पास करके जा. Go to the temple only for time pass. Go to ashram only for time pass. Go to some people wherever you feel like going, where your holy company will be maintained. Maybe after meetings are continued only for time pass. Because main thing is Dhura Abhyas of consciousness, pure intelligence, reflection on that. And how the reflection starts? There are the reflection, many methods we have followed. Rajju Sarpa. We are seeing the rope from far of the distance, go near that, and we see the snake from far of the distance, go near that, it is only rope. So it is Rajju Sarpa Vivek has been told. It is a rope and we are saying snake. Come back to the same place, again we see the snake, but then we know that bus it is only rope. Then second example is given is of mirage water. Swami Vivekananda wanted to was thirsty in Rajasthan. He saw a lot of water is there. He started walking towards that, and then he understand, realized, oh, that is also increasing the distance. Then he said, this is called as mirage water. So he again came back to the place. Again he sees the water, but now the knowledge is there. So he says it is a mirage water. The third is Satya Vastu Vivek. What is Satya? Satya is only divinity. Asatya is whole world including all living, non-living, sentient and inert things. Satya Satya Vivek. Only catch that which is divine. So how to do that? देहात्म भाव का त्याग, जीवात्मक भाव का त्याग, ईश्वरात्मक भाव का त्याग. What remains is only divinity, divinity, divinity. You have to practice that. And last, what last we can add here as last is gold and ornament. Both, like a goldsmith sees only the gold, whereas the customer sees only the ornaments, like maybe necklace, maybe ring, maybe whatever, and they value that ornaments, whereas the goldsmith value only the gold, but actually really it is gold. So these are all Viveks are told, and by firm practice, Durabhyas, our mind will always remain tranquil because it is one with the divinity. Rather, it is only divinity manifested. And initially, it was unmanifested. Whole life, it is becomes manifested, and after that, it becomes unmanifested. So that is there. Ata paurushamaashrityam chitta akrama chetasa vishoka padmalamba niratanga stiro bhava mana eva samartham hi manaso druda nigare. Therefore, resorting to the human efforts, taking possession of the thinking mind by consciousness, and laying hold of the place devoid of sorrow, be steady, free from anguish, because in the firm restraint of the mind, only the mind is capable. So now, in nice principle is told, Samartha hi manaso dhruda nigrahe. Moment your mind is away from the duality of world, then only that mind remains quiescence, and that mind is only capable mind. बाकी जो माइंड बड़बड़ करता है बाहर में, दैट इज गोसिप, दैट इज वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम, दैट इज यूर only wasting your energy for unproductive work. You are wasting your all the, maybe you are going to temple, maybe drink Japan, then all water. If your mind is not quiescence, it is not capable. Mind has to be restrained by the mind. Firm restraint to the mind has to be applied. What? Dekho suno bolo mat. So first day it will not come because we are doing it for the first time in the life. Maybe so many hundreds of life has gone. Now we have the habit of talking, we have the habit of commenting, we have the habit of reacting, we have the habit of reactionary habits. So what to do? Slowly it will get firm restraint on the mind, and then mind becomes capable. That means presently the mind is not capable. That has to be understood. So 35th shloka. भोगाववासना त्यक्त्वा निर्विकल्प सुखी भव एष एव मनोनाश विद्यानाश उच्यते. Abandoning the mental impressions of the multitude of enjoyments, be happy with the distinction of the knower and the known. यानी अपने को जो कोई खुशी मिल रही है ड्यूअलिटी में, बाहर के जगत में, वो सब पूरी ड्रॉप करना पड़ेगा. This only is the distraction of mind, which is verily called as the destruction of ignorance. यही अज्ञान को हटाने का मार्ग है, दूसरा कोई मार्ग नहीं अज्ञान को हटाने का। और अज्ञान कहाँ से आता है? अज्ञान comes because of your desires and because of your ego. Again comes ignorance comes only because of that. So you have to drop your desires, you have to drop your ego. Some of the sense of otherness only creates desires and bondage. So this spiritual ignorance, इच्छा मात्रेण अविद्येयन तन्ना शो मोक्ष उच्यते सच असंकल्प मात्रेण सिद्धो भवति नान्यथा. This spiritual ignorance is only the desire of the mind, and its destruction is called as liberation. That is the liberation. That means whether the things happen according to our mind or it happens according to the God's mind, God's thought process, we are not disturbed, and that is called as liberation. This indeed is accomplished only by the absence of thought और इमेजिनेशंस, नॉट अदरवाइज. अपन जो चिंतन करते रहते हो अगर ड्रॉप कर दिया तो क्या ड्रॉप करना पड़ेगा? नोअर नोन नॉलेज हैज टू बी ड्रॉप. दिस त्रिपुटी हैज टू बी ड्रॉप. व्हाट इज दैट? नोअर नोन एंड नॉलेज, ये ड्रॉप करना पड़ेगा. अपने को दिख रहा है, अपने को दिख रहा है स्काई में, अपने को शाम के समय पे मून दिख रहा है और स्टार्स भी दिख रही. एंजॉय दैट ना. हु सेज नो डोंट एंजॉय? ब्यूटीफुली गो ऑन द टेरेस, पुट अप अ मैट and आराम से sleep on that, see the moon, see the stars, but don't comment. Don't say अरे there is a saptarshi, there is a seven this thing, that moon is only prathama today. No comments. It is all because you know it is illusionary appearance of prathama. Actually it is full moon because of this Prithvi's this thing, Gurutva, Prithvi's rotation, it is showing as a prathama dvitiya, likewise to Purnima and Amavasya. So we should know that. That means inquiry is to kindle in our mind. So next is Naham Brahmeti Sankalpat Sudrudat Bandhate Mana Sarva Brahmeti Sankalpat Sudrudat Mruchyate Mana. By the firm mental resolve, I am not the Brahmin, I am not the Supreme Spirit. The mind is bound. जो बोल देता है अरे रहने दो यार, ये तो हम तो नहीं बन सकते भगवान, हम है ही नहीं, हम तो हैवानी है, तो ठीक है, भगवान कहते तथास्तु, रिमेन हैवान. So by the firm, but whereas if some people do that by the firm mental resolve, all is Brahman, that is the supreme spirit, the mind is liberated. That means mind get dissolved into that consciousness. Kaise? Moment you say that yes, this is supreme spirit, this is the right thing. Everything is happening is right only. There is nothing wrong happens in this world. सब कुछ भगवान की इच्छा से हो रहा है तो कौन सा काम गलत हो सकता है? कोई भी काम गलत नहीं हो सकता. All people are under the control of that Ishwar only. But then you keep yourself away from the bad element of the society. That is only in your hand. Krushoti dukhi baddhoham astapadadimanaham iti bhavano anurupen vyavare na baddhate. I am weak, extremely distressed and bound. सभी लोगों को आदत रहती है अरे मैं तो वीक हूँ, ये तो काम से जमेगा ही नहीं, एक्सट्रीमली डिस्ट्रेस हूँ, अरे मैं तो बाउंड हूँ, ये वॉट एवर द पीपल थिंक, और मैं तो मेरे को तो हाथ है पैर है और organs है. Whoever thinks like that, one is bound by action in conformity with the ideas as such. He is creating his own ideas, and because of that, he is bound to it. ना हम दुःखी न मे देहो देहादन्य परोसमम् इति निश्चयेव अनन्तं क्षीणो विद्या विमुच्यते. I am not in distress. So what is the autosuggestion has to be said? I am not in distress. I have no limitations of the body. I am the supreme spirit, different from the body. So I am not the body, I am not the Jiva, I am not the Ishvara, I am the supreme spirit. One who has this firm conviction within and whose spiritual ignorance has been destroyed is liberated. That means he is moksha. He has attended the Jivan Mukti. Aho na chittam yat satyam brahma tat vismrute nrinam yat asatyam avidya khatam tat nyunam smriti magatam. Alas, it is indeed surprising that which is the truth or the Brahmin, supreme spirit, that has been forgotten by man. Now Vasishtha Rishi is telling, अरे ये तो बहुत ही आश्चर्य की चीज है कि आदमी ने अपना स्वरूप ही भूल गया. ये कितनी आश्चर्य की चीज है. देखिए how unfortunate that the person is that he has forgotten his divine nature, and what happens is he's been bound because of his own thoughts. What are the right from the childhood he is shouting from the bottom of his heart. He's shouting from the bottom of his heart. What is saying? I am the body. I have two legs. I have two hands. I have one head. I have heart. I have ribs. I have this spinal cord. That it is instrument he has forgot. So what is that? Alas, it is indeed surprising which is the truth on Brahman. the supreme spirit that has been forgotten by man, and that which is untruth called spiritual ignorance has certainly come to the memory. जो उसका spiritual ignorance है, अज्ञान है, वो memory में आ गया. उसको बड़ा अच्छा लगने लग गया. मैं एक घर है, दूसरा घर लूंगा, ये करूंगा, बदमाशी करूंगा, ये करूंगा, चीटिंग करूंगा, सब कुछ करूंगा, क्योंकि मैं तो हैवान ही हूँ ना. मेरा काम ही हैवानगिरी करना है. तो यही मेरा काम है, तो मैं वो करते रहूंगा और फंसूंगा और मरूंगा, और अगले जो कोई जन्म आएगा, मे बी प्लांट, मे बी ट्री, मे बी whatever, because samskars get carried out along with the atma. That Paramatma, which is there as one source, get fragmented into so many jivas, and those jivas carry, because life is anadi ananta. It is not going to end unless you become jivan mukta. And jivan mukta is the zero thoughts, and unless you bring to the zero thoughts or minimal thoughts or only divine thoughts, you keep a crease on the shirt. Nobody says don't keep a crease on the shirt, because shirts look very beautiful because of crease. But don't keep wrinkles on the shirt. That's what it is saying. So you are the supreme spirit, but you have forgotten that, and you say that I am the ignorant, I am the man made up of this body, and then you suffer because of that, and that certainly comes to your memory. ये आपके दिमाग में आता है. So now we will be seeing this tomorrow. Sri Ram now, after listening to the Vasishtha Rishi, he asked, Sri Ram uvacha Lavanoso Mahabhaga Praptavam Katamapadam. How did this Lavana, a very blessed person, meet with this misfortune? ये लवना को ये मिसफॉर्चून कहाँ से आ गया? ये कैसे किस पर अटक गया? ये कैसे शंबरी के चक्कर में आ गया और ये इतना अच्छा राजा होने के बाद how it suffered? Vasishtha Rishi is going to tell us that tomorrow. We'll see that with these prayers. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramachandra Arpanamastu, submitting the divine fruits to the holy feet of Sri Ramachandra.